Okay, you know what? Let's just jump into it. It's our first time, so you know it's probably not gonna be perfect. So we'll do what we can, and maybe we'll figure out along the way. All right. Um, so welcome. This is our very first dev stream for SCP site director, and I'm pretty excited to show some stuff. Um, all right, let's get on to it. So first things first, if you're not sure, we have a Trello, which is basically a website where you can, um, you know, just follow the progress of the game and like how far along we are on development. It doesn't list everything that I have left to do. Like it doesn't mean that after I'm done with this, all this, um, that means the game is finished or anything like that. No, these are just like including stuff and tasks that I have immediate plans for. Yeah, so that's what all this is, right? So backlog basically refers to stuff that I think I might be working sometime in the future. Tasks are stuff that I plan to do next. Usually will be in this order, but sometimes maybe shuffle around. And in progress, as the name implies, it means it's in progress. Delayed, also pretty obvious, just means it's delayed for many different reasons. Could be technical, could be a design reason, or whatever, right? And completed just means that it's already done. So if you just scroll down, you'll see a lot of stuff here. They're all stuff that I've already cleared, basically. Um, all right, so moving on. I just want to show some updates that we have to the Discord server. So basically, I've opened up this new channel, new category called mini dev streams. So mini dev stream are basically sometimes when I'm just feeling um, maybe out of nowhere I just feel like, hey, you know what, maybe I could just show what I'm working on. And because I could do scheduled streams like this all the time, but you know maybe people don't appreciate getting pinged all the time and stuff. So I set this up so that I could just stream it to this server, and if you are interested in seeing what's going on, you could just hop in and just watch what's going on with the um, just watch what I'm working on. So yeah, that's the main reason for this this channel here. All right. Oh, okay. We got. Oh, all right. That's 4 people. That's great. To be honest, I expected only 2, so that's twice how much. Twice more than how much I expected. So now to what you're all really waiting for, to see the progress of the game. There isn't really much to show, to be honest. Most of it is like code and stuff, and just showing code and stuff is pretty boring. So I just show what I have. Firstly, we start with something that you may have seen already, but in case you're someone who hasn't seen it yet, we finally have our characters. So these are the 6 main class. I'll just go through them one by one. I just want to point out that I just want to point out 2 things. Firstly, I'm not a super fantastic artist, and secondly, these are all just placeholders, and there's a very very good chance that they will be replaced eventually, right? All right. So firstly, you have your D class, right? Your D class, as you know, they are your experiment cannon fathers and stuff. And next, you have your guard. Guards are not exactly MTFs. They're much more like just guarding security and just making sure that none of the faculties working there or none of the staff working there are really maybe spies for the other GOIs, like chaos or whatever, right? MTFs, yeah, they're your special squad, right? They're your containment specialists, and they'll be the ones who really doing a lot of the fighting if there is any combat stuff going on. You have your researcher. As the name implies, they do your research. They're the ones investigating the SCPs and learning, studying from it. Then you have your staff. This is some general purpose role. So they don't. So yes, they do the admin work and stuff. Which there's a mechanic for it, but still pretty vague. Like it's still very high level. I have not really got into details of it. But the general idea is that you use them to basically facilitate hiring, for example, right? So a good staff could help you find someone who is better suited for, no, like basically they try to filter through people to make sure that they are not spies or anything like that. They just take care of these things. Yeah, so you may need to invest on good staff, for example, and there are other purpose for staffs, but I'll not really get into them right now. And lastly is your technicians. So these are the people who just make sure that your systems, your facility, they're running very smoothly, running very running very well. Taking care of the generators, taking care of the power, or all this kind of stuff, because it could be sabotaged, and if your power is down, for example, that means your SCP containment cells are down, and that can lead to a lot of really, really, really bad things happening to you. Okay, so that's out of the way. I just want to point out though, like you may wonder why I went with this art style. There are actually two reasons for it. Firstly, it's very, very easy to do. So if at any point of time I want to make some adjustments to how they look like and stuff, it's very easy, right? Compared to like something that's much more realistic, where if I want to like make some adjustments to it, I have to remodel it, I have to re-rig it, and that can take a while. But whereas in this case, if I have to remodel it and re-rig it, I could do it in like just a couple of hours at most, right? Because it's very, very straightforward. So that's my reasoning for why I went with something like, for an art style, something like this. It's much more straightforward. Okay, now let's get some gameplay going. Give you a second. Oh, someone said something on Discord. The MTF looks sick. Yeah, it does. It looks very sick. 10,000 hours worked on it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Alright, so don't worry about the dots. That's just for development purpose. It's just a debugging tool so that I know where I'm placing. Definitely gonna be replaced in the future. Of course, I want to point out that pretty much everything you see here is going to be replaced. It's not pretty much everything. Everything is definitely going to be replaced in the future. But it should give you a general idea of how the game will look like. So you have this 3D view, top down, for example, right? And yeah, so you can move around in 3D and stuff. Oh, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. As I was saying, this is like a top-down 3D view, and you can rotate around, you can pan around and stuff. Yeah, so pretty basic. And up here you have all your resources going on, right? So I think this is like your funds. Yeah, we got like six different roles that you have for your for the people working for you, for your employees. You also have six different types of resources that you will have to manage. I will get into them next time because it is possible I might be removing two of these, but I'm not super sure yet. Um, okay, so let's go over how you actually build stuff, right, in the game. So here you have your path, and you have your path tool, and you can use it to basically draw paths, right? So here I'm creating a path there, there. Yeah, so basically just connecting rooms and stuff. And next you have your rooms. There'll be many different types of rooms in the future. For now, I will have an office setting, which doesn't even look like an office for now, because it's still very early. So I could do that, and can just connect the rooms there together. So you see here, there's like a different structure connecting where the path and the room connects. The idea is that in the future I might be I might be implementing like a gate system, so you could lock this door and you know prevent access, which can be useful in case of a breach, for example. Yeah, so that's where that's reason why you might want to have a door and stuff. I might be expanding on that system in the future, but yeah, that's the general idea for this door piece over here. All right. Then something else I want to highlight is that you see on the top left corner here, maybe I can magnify it. Right, you see top left corner here, right, the time here. Yeah, so we do have a time system. So what happens is that your staff will actually work from within their office hours. Well, like that, they have their own start time to their end time. Yeah, and after the end time, they may either take a day off or go to sleep, or visit like a leisure room, recreation room, or something. So there will be a lot of system going on, so that the staff don't feel like robots who just go to work and go back. They have their own lives, and each of them will live their own life differently, and it's very very unique to the person. Thanks for subscribing. Oh wait, following. Pumeya. I still don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah. Hope I didn't butcher it. All right. But yeah, that's the purpose of the time, and of course you can also use it to slow down or speed up the time. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna do something very easy. Yeah. So this is something that's still very very rough, but it's a general idea of like how you hire people into the game, right? So you will be given like a general roster of people, and you get their details like their names, their age, and their stats and stuff. Yeah, this is still very rough. I don't like the way it looks right now. Using numbers and stuff, which is very bad for user experience. But yeah. But let's say I just hire 3 of this D class, right? Then I can place an order, and there they arrive here, right? So what I can do now is maybe place like a structure, which in this case is just a simple research place, right? And I can assign the 3 of them to that, right? There is a bug going on right now where they don't go, although they are supposed to. So that's just something I have to figure out. But yeah, you get the general idea, right? of how the system works. So when you specify a place where they can do their work in, that's where they will, you know, they'll they will live their life according to that. And you don't just create a workplace. You also have to create places where they will rest, and places where they eat and stuff. All of this stuff. These are all systems that we have plans for, but I just haven't really gotten around to making it. Yeah, that's currently what is going on in the game. There's this cell tab. It's very very new, but basically it's just a place where you can create um, your containment cells, which is still yeah, it's not done yet. It's not ready yet, but yeah, when it's ready, I'll talk more about it in the future. So that's it for what's going on in the game so far. Now that said, I do want to show. I'm not sure if I've shown this yet, but we finally have a model for 173, and here's how it looks like. Yeah, I know it doesn't look really that great yet, but for the same reason as the characters, the reason why he looks something very cartoonish and very easy is because it's very easy for me to work on, both from a technical standpoint and an artistic standpoint. I don't really have to think about you know making it look very realistic and stuff, and how the lighting affects the surface and stuff. Yeah, I do not have to consider all of these things, so that's why it's much more easier to make it just be made of spheres and stuff. Very easy. Yeah, I know it's amazing, right? Yeah. So that's actually one of my final points to cover. If it's the art style of the other stuff, yeah, that's also another reason why like by making everything stylized, you keep the art style consistent, and it's just so much more easy to maintain that consistency. Whereas if you do something that's more realistic, just one thing looking a bit off, and people will notice it. So I could do that, but it requires a lot more time and a lot more people, which currently, since I'm the only one working on this, I don't feel safe going through that art side. So yeah, that's why we're doing something that's a bit more stylized. So what happens now? What happens? What's going on now? Why is progress slow and stuff? You may have these questions. So the reason why it's slow is because at my full-time job, which I'm also doing a game dev job. What did you miss? Yeah, we just okay. You know what? Maybe while I'm talking, I'll just play in the background, like just so you get a good idea. Maybe I'll even repeat some of the stuff in the future, later on. But yeah, anyways, as I wanted to say that recently the reason why I was able to work on it was because at my full-time day job, which is also a game dev job, I've been going through quite a long period of crunch, which if you're familiar with what crunch is, if you're not familiar with what crunch is, it's basically a period in the game dev cycle where you work really long hours, and you just it's just really 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 tough, and you basically have no time to do any other things. That's what crunch is, and it typically happens in any game dev cycle, when you're reaching a milestone or shortly before the game release. And I was going through that period, but now it just ended, so I have a bit more time and I can continue working on this. That's the first piece of news I want to say. And the second piece of news is that there is a chance I might be getting some help, like like a new apprentice who might help me on this project. It is possible, but we're not sure yet, but we'll see, right? Yeah, so yeah, just those two things. Okay. Actually, at this point, I wanted to just children, I've pretty much covered everything already. So since you're here, yeah, let me just cover again. Just let me just repeat some stuff that I mentioned that I did show. So the state of the game right now, it's still very rough, it's still very basic, as you can see here. Like everything here, the art style is still very very primitive, right? So how you play? Now you firstly place this like a starting point. I call it the loading dock. Basically, a lot of stuff that you order from other facilities or from the outside, they will appear here. So you have a path tool that you will create, where you will create the path for and stuff. And then you can create a room and connect the path to the room. And then you can place like a workstation, right? For in this case, like a research table or something, right? And you can hire people, and you have their stats and stuff. Of course, it's still very rough, right? The names are all randomized, by the way. Like I have a very short list, so like I was thinking of outsourcing, like crowdsourcing this, so like I can let you all contribute names as well. Like you just type it into an Excel sheet or something. Like I create an Excel sheet. You guys just type in names and stuff, and I can include it in, or something like that. We'll see. So yeah, so what happens with staff, for example, is that you will have to create an order for them, then the O5 will send it over to you and stuff, or like from other facilities, or however we haven't really sorted that out yet. So yeah, that's where they appear. And just rotate, and you can see the angry face. I'm not sure you can see it. The screen's a bit small, but yeah, angry face. And then you can assign them to do the work, right? So this becomes their workstation. Then I also briefly mentioned about the time that you see here on the top right corner here. So the thing about the time is that depending on the workstation, you can set their work hours and stuff, their working hours and stuff. Because I'm trying my best to not make each of these individuals, each of these of your employees to be like just a robot who goes to work and then that's it. I try to create an extra layer of depth to it, right? So they also have their health. They also have to go and eat and sleep as well. So you have to create some living quarters or like a canteen, something like that. All these things. So yeah, so each of them will have their own personality and stuff, and I hope that creates an extra layer of unpredictability, and in a good way, right? Because you still want predictable behavior in games, but by doing something like this, I hope to see some interesting consequences happening. Like something that players will not expect will happen, or something, and that way you have to be flexible with how you play the game. Yeah. So that's really the main things I want to cover. I also mentioned something about the Trello and the Discord, but you can find that in the Discord itself already, so I'm not gonna cover it again. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the main points that I wanted to cover. So if you have any other questions, yeah, you can ask now. In the meantime, I'm just gonna do some modeling, I guess, or something. Maybe for about 30 minutes before I end the stream. Yeah. Will there be vehicles in the game? Not really. I don't really have anything plans as far as vehicles are concerned. Maybe in the future, maybe a way for the employees to, you know, travel around the facility much quicker or something. But no, nothing like that planned. So basically, what would happen? Let me just create something very simple, just to give a visualization of what I expect will happen. So just imagine, like, you know, you create an order for some no, for some staff or resources, right? So what happens that this there'll be like a lift with all the supplies on top of it, and it will just come down, land here, and then you can take it, and then you just go back up again, right? Something like that. So yeah, it's not really being transported in. It's much more like it's just something. It's just that whatever you order, it'll be delivered to you. As for SCPs, yeah, you will always need an MTF to escort them to their cell, or like transport them to their cell, that kind of thing. But it's basically the same idea. You get delivered to this loading dock first before getting transported to wherever it needs to go, right? I also want to point out that the game, as for at the moment, I plan for it to be like a one layer kind of thing. Yeah, so you don't have a multi-layered it's not like a multi-layered base or anything. It's just gonna be like one layer, and it's set to be like an underground facility kind of thing, right? That's why you have this loading dock coming from the top and stuff. So your background would probably be like a lot of rocks and stuff, because that's the plan. It's not really like a overland or something. Maybe we can do that in the future, but for now, no such plans. Yeah, I know that's a very long-winded explanation, but I just thought I should get that clear. Right, so what do we need? We talk a bit about we talk a bit about the loading dock, about the path. Oops, I didn't do that properly. Or maybe that's a bug. Oh no, it isn't a bug. Okay. Yeah, currently the way the path is being placed, it's a bit broken. It doesn't follow my mouse sometimes. Like, I want it to be over here, but you see where my mouse is, but for some reason it just stops one tile before. Yeah, it's a really weird bug that I have to look into. Okay, the walls look pretty empty, right? But you can see there's a bit of structure going on there. So it's a little detail that I put onto the walls. And I was also thinking that when you create a room, you will populate itself with like furnitures and stuff. So you have some chairs over there or something, maybe. But my concern with that is that, like, what if the art style doesn't match, right? Like, maybe this is supposed to be like a... Actually, yeah, you have this room type selection, so it should work. Yeah, we could just create props that goes according to the themes of it or something. We'll do that. Interesting. And of course, the loading dock at the moment looks very plain. So might do something regarding that very soon. Alright, let's see what we have here. So SCP database. This is basically just I'm trying to set up a system where you can have a list of all the known SCPs and the details of it. Oh yeah, regarding that, the details of the SCPs, I plan to get writers to basically rewrite all the SCP details so that it's a bit more compressed, right? Because SCP wiki, there is no way that there is no way in a game where you come on, yeah, if let's say you have this SCP, for example, there's no way you want to read this wall of text in a game. I'm one of those people who really don't like when a game gives me a wall of text, right? So I'm trying to find a way so that it'll be much more easier for players to get a good idea of what SCP does and their description. So maybe by rewriting their description into a way that is more condensed and just highlights the main points, or creating a video system or something like that. Not super sure about it yet, but yeah, there are plans for there are plans and consideration that are going into this kind of thing, right? So next thing that I'm going to be working on is tech tree. It's very high level right now, but yeah, tech tree, as the name implies, is just that you create it's basically like an upgrade system, right? So what happens is that there is this one resource type. Put the SCP model near the text while it moves or whatever it does there. Yeah, possible. I'm not 100% yet on how I plan to do it, but yeah, there are some considerations going on. Yeah, anyways, tech tree setup. Yeah, so I'm just trying to create a basic system for tech tree. So the tech tree will help you to upgrade stuff like better living quarters, or better food, better productivity for your staff or whatever. But I plan to make it a bit more layered in a way where if you were to pick certain upgrades, you will not be able to pick the other, and you'll be locked out of others for some reason, and this type of thing will make the players consider more carefully on how they want to upgrade their stuff. And yeah, I'm just interested in seeing what the consequences is regarding that. Maybe it will not go well, and it may go wrong or something, but we'll see when the early build is finally coming up. Yeah, where you guys can finally try it out and stuff. Alright, now over here's the construction system. So it's basically pretty easy to explain. As you can see currently, you can just place and tada, it's already built. So the plan now, this isn't what's planned in the design. What's planned in the design is actually something much closer to Prison Architect, where yes, you place it like that, but there'll be some people going in to actually build the place, so it isn't like a instantaneous kind of thing. Yeah, so the reason why I do this is so that players won't really abuse the building system. They will think more carefully about how they place where they place and design their facilities. yeah, and also it prevents them from just deleting a part of the map anytime like a SCP escapes or something, right? Like that's not fair. So yeah, that's the reason for it. And there's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go through every single one, but I do want to mention that sometimes you'll see this kind of thing, secret features and stuff, right? So the reason why I kept it a secret is because these are just something that's very special, that I don't think any other SCP games have done, and something that I don't think many people have ever even considered doing before. Yeah, so I just try to keep it a secret, much more like as a surprise, or sometimes it's just for the simple reason of that I'm not 1000% sure if it's even going to be in the game. So sometimes they're just experiments, and I sometimes leave like a hint and stuff. So like this one, you see MUKA or BADUN, for example, right? So those are like hints, and I'm very sure that nobody will figure it out, but who knows, maybe someone will actually figure it out and have a good idea of what those means. But yeah, that's the reason for this style secret features and stuff. Yeah, that's generally it. I don't think if anything else to cover on that front. But generally, I'm pretty happy with how the game is progressing in the, like, it seems to be moving along. Although I'm still not happy with how fast we are moving. At this point, actually, I expected the arts to be a bit more polished, for example, but unfortunately, we're not quite there yet, because of the aforementioned reasons I've given, which is not just my full-time work affecting this project. Yeah. Maybe something I can show is the AI system. Let me just disable this. So there's yeah, so one of the main things about the game, of course, is your AI, right? You'll need lots of it. I expect you to have maybe about 200 maximum. Probably won't go to 2000 or anything like that, but but either way, I'd still like to have the AI to be a bit more optimized and running very smoothly and stuff, right? And if you look at the stats, you currently with all this going on, which includes the rendering and stuff for the crowd, it's running at about 3 milliseconds, which is still pretty high, but this is before stuff like optimization and like stuff to get the game running much more smoothly. And so far I think it looks, yeah, it's about, it maintains around that 3 milliseconds performance, which is good, So yeah, so I've been experimenting with this and stretching it a bit more, going to 500 personnel and seeing how fast the game runs. Yeah, you see about 2 milliseconds increase, which isn't really good, but then again, like I mentioned, you probably won't even reach 500, so I think it's okay for now. Maybe in the future we'll have to optimize it further, but I'm pretty happy with the AI systems right now. So you can see the yellow stuff is basically just pathfinding calculations going on right now. Right. So every single AI they will be given in this test, for example, they'll be given a point. They'll be given a point to move to, and they will just have to do the calculations of where to move. So imagine repeating that 500 times, right, for every single NPC there is, and it can get a bit expensive. But yeah, I'm using a system to help to make that run much more smoother, and there are a lot of more plans for optimization, so you'll definitely get better. But for now, this is what you get. Okay. Actually, to be honest, I'm not even sure I'm gonna make right now. Not really feeling it. To be honest, I'm not feeling very well today. So yeah, I'll give it a minute. Do you guys have any further questions? Otherwise, I'm ready to just call it a day for the stream, and we'll do something much more interesting in future streams. This is much more of an experiment kind of thing, because I'm not I haven't really done a proper dev stream before. Oh, yeah, I certainly hope the game will be awesome. Yeah. Well, it will only be awesome if, like, the game really works. Currently it's sort of working, but not really. There's still a lot more work to do. So, yeah. But yeah, I do hope it works. Also, I realized that I've been sorting the layers wrong. No wonder I couldn't see the chat. For characters in the Excel sheet, please make it clear if we are to make an SCP employee reference what traits you need them to have, so we can write little blurbs. I have actually thought about blurbs. I assume from blurbs you mean like little pieces of dialogue. In which case, yeah, that's a very interesting idea actually. I could crowdsource that. Yeah. Good thinking. I like it. We might do that. Okay. And just for you folks who are here in the stream, maybe I'll show you something that we have. It's one of the secret features, but I guess I'll just give you a hint. So here's the main menu. Oh, what is this? Skin color, head type, mouth type. What's going on here? I wonder what this means. What kind of system is this? Well, I won't talk about it for now because it's a secret feature, but maybe it means something. Make your own stuff? Not exactly, but let's just say you can put yourself in the game. Yeah, that's the only hint I'll give you. You might be able to put yourself in the game. As for how that will work, yeah, I will not say it. But yeah, there's a very interesting gameplay mechanic that I'm thinking of, which involves having yourself in the game. But yeah, that's for another time. Alright, as usual, if you do have any questions or suggestions, you could always just drop it in the Discord, and I'll be happy to answer them. I really gotta head off right now. I'm not feeling too good. Yeah, and don't worry if you didn't manage to catch everything on the stream. I plan to upload the full thing. Maybe not the full thing, but like the main important highlights on the YouTube channel, which I will also post on the Discord as well. Right, so if there's anything, yeah, everything will just be on Discord, right? Just stay in the Discord and just stay tuned, and you'll get the latest news. You get everything over there. I'll post everything there. So yeah, there's nothing much. I wish you all a good day, and I really hope to have something new to show all of you. All right, take care. Bye bye.